Hello, this is Nick995. For this video, I don't know, I'm ranking Immersion for PS2 and PSP games, so I'm only going to be doing the top 11. Because if I was to do 60 something games, that would take too long. It would take too long of a video. And if you're watching this, subscribe, share the video, please. Comment down below. Please comment. Let me guys know what you think of the video. So anyways, now we're ranking it 11 to 1. So 11 being the least immersive, relatively least immersive, to 1 being the most immersive game. And immersion, remember again, immersion is, some games is kind of hard to define, but it's mainly like how real the game feels. How connected I feel to the characters in the game, the setting, the open world, the scenarios that the game puts you in. And yeah, and that has to do with, sometimes that's, I could really be related to the challenge of the game. How challenging is the game? Easy versus hard, all that. So anyways, no number, oh, never mind. It's number 10. We only have 10 games. Let's check. Yeah. Only a 10 game. And it's a mixed PSP and PS2 games. So yeah, number 10 is Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 being mainly a game. If you guys know Kingdom Hearts, right? Some people classify it as one of the greatest games ever made, right? But with Kingdom Hearts 2, it's a mixture of from what I know, Final Fantasy and Disney characters. So it's a mixed genre. But now what I like about it like it starts out like I didn't like I'm only like 6 hours into it, but like it starts out, it's very a cartoonish like you start out in the simulation world, but things aren't as it seems. And you got these forces that are behind the scene are controlling, kind of are behind it, and you gotta try and figure out, what's going on. What the hell? But yeah, it's very what I like about it is very, you got the side missions that keep you engaged, and this mystery, just the mystery about behind this world, and the original character from Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora or whatever, like you gotta try and find out what happened to him, and you gotta play Kingdom Hearts 1 to find, to really understand the mystery. And you got these, what do you call them again? Heartless or whatever, they're starting to rise up again. But yeah, like the simulation of world, and it's kind of a dual, our protagonist. It's kind of like two sides of the same coin. I forgot to say, and then yeah, but the mystery, the cartoon feel, and it's very interesting. But at the same time, there's a lot going on at once, which sometimes makes it confusing, which is why I didn't rank it higher. And yeah, so it's number 10 on the list. Next one is God of War: Chains of Olympus for PSP. That's one of my first PSP game. So you guys know Kratos, right? He's demigod, right? Demigod. So a demigod, him being a son of Zeus. So in this one, mainly he has to save Atlas, right? But what I really love about the immersiveness about this is that it's a portable game, PlayStation portable game. And PlayStation portable is like, it's console. It's a mix between console and a mobile game. So the graphics are like a PS2, but you can basically it's like playing a PS2, but it's as a portable system. You can carry it around all over. So I could play a God of War game. I'm playing a God of War game, and it's hack and slash nature, a third person action adventure nature or whatever. It's pretty fun. It's very fun. And what I love again, the environments, they feel very, you really go to like the ancient civilization against ancient Greece, right? And the Greek mythology based, and you got there's this mystery behind Atlas. In spoilers. So Atlas basically kind of turns bad in this one, and then you gotta save Helios, so the sun god. And there's something where there's a nice thing in it where there's a sunshine mechanic in the game that you get, right? So with the sunshine, you gotta deflect the sunlight or whatever or like a type of light throughout these different platforms to unlock the next level or whatever. So it's pretty fun. It's really fun. It's just that immersiveness. And like that ancient Greece it's a very interesting civilization. And are you playing as Kratos? Kratos is like a demigod, so he's way stronger than a human. And you get the large scale battles in this one. The large scale battles are in a PSP game. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. So like God of War 1 to 3, but like in PSP, but a bit shorter than those games. Next one is gonna be Spider-Man 2. You guys know one of the greatest Spider-Man games and adaptations of Spider-Man. It's based on the Spider-Man 2 movie. Tobey Maguire and all the immersiveness. Tobey Maguire does such a great job of really representing Spider-Man, right? You know, and Peter Parker. Like it's really like, and when he plays Peter Parker, you could really see this is what Peter Parker would be like if he was a real person. The voice, you know, how he acts and all that, and you know, how the tone is, you know, everything. So yeah, again, and in the game you really get that the web swinging feels so real, and the fighting, yeah, you know, it's not too challenging, but it's not too easy. It's not too hard, not too easy, perfect difficulty, and yeah, with everything, you're in New York City, right? So one of the during the early days of open world, you know, like where games really started to go open world, so you get to explore all of this New York City. So it's like Spider-Man PS4. Well, obviously smaller, but there's obviously New York City. There's different, you know, areas to it. The Big Apple, and I can go to different areas in this, and just how big the buildings are in the city area. And the dialogue too. The dialogue, like when you swing around, there's people like talking to you while you swing around. The NPCs, they sound so real, and the boss fights as well. Obviously, Doctor Octopus and Mysterio adds to the immersiveness in it. Yeah, just like when I don't know, the fighting feels so like you're actually Spider-Man, even though with the outdated graphics or whatever. And then you know Peter Parker, he has this a struggle right here. He has to balance between his superhero life and his normal life. You know, yeah, you really get that feel in this game. Jungle Storm, Ghost Recon Jungle Storm. Now it's a game where you don't. Now it's number 7, right? A Jungle Storm. That's where I find it. Really, these two games are the same, right? So this is the original Ghost Recon. The original Ghost Recon is to the right, but then a Jungle Storm came after it. But really, they're similar. The same soundtrack in the game, same gameplay and all that. But really, Ghost Recon to the left is very immersive in that you get this feel that you know, even though you're in a team of 6, so there's 3 teams right now. There's 2 teams. There's Alpha and Bravo, and and you guys basically switch between them. So like you're always with 2 other people, you know, whether Alpha or Bravo, and it's pretty fun in that, you know, unique in that. With most of first-person shooting games, you only see I see the gun, but in this game, I don't even see the gun. You only see the crosshairs. So all you're seeing is this. There's no gun. So you gotta adapt to that, and your field of vision is gonna be kind of limited. The turning is weird. The camera, and just that, it adds that suspense, extra level of suspense. But what really makes it immersive is that realistic. You really feel like you're in war in this game. I'm gonna play the game. I really feel like there's a war going. You know, like you're in like an actual war, and the bullets in the, you know, like just the bullets sound so real. Like when they shoot, you know, this gun, the bullets sound so real, you know. And the gunfire sounds so real, and you know you'll hear the enemies yelling out in their foreign language, and you as the you guys gotta try and adapt, and you're in you know, obviously foreign lands, right? So you're in areas where, you know, you might not be familiar with upon first playthrough, and the radar makes it easy. So like when it's yellow, an enemy is far; when it's orange, an enemy is nearer, and then when it's red, an enemy is very, very, really, really close to you. So you get all that. But yeah, just overall, again, the limited camera view, the sound effects, the voice acting. Again, the gameplay too is pretty solid, and you can die very easy. Just that sense that you can die easily kind of adds the suspense to it. Number 6 is gonna be Midnight Club 2. Midnight Club 2. Let's stay in that difficulty. Really, with the difficulty, the game is very hard. Right near the middle of the game gets very hard. and you can't mess around. Where in this game, you gotta be each race you do, you gotta be in first place to move on to the next race. So it's gonna take a couple of times to know the race, and you're racing through checkpoints, right? You gotta know how the race works, the routes and shortcuts. The shortcuts are very important, right? Because again, like always like in the back of my mind, like when I play the game, it's like, oh no, if I don't, even if I finish in second place, I can't advance. You all gotta always be in first place in the mission, in the race. And yeah, and obviously every racer you go to, how's it, Los Angeles. You start out in Los Angeles, you go to what's it again, France, and you go to Tokyo. So there's races from all over the world, and there's animation of, for somehow you can hear what's in the racer's mind somehow, I don't know, like you're some sort of a mind reader, and then there's animation of them of what's going on like in their mind, and they actually talk to you after that. There's dialogue, and yeah. No, what they could have did more to make it more immersive is they could make it so you had a voice, that you as your character had a voice, a main character, because you're like a voiceless, like a non-existent character, but you're, even though like it's you, you're playing as this character. But my God, this is suspense. Overall suspense and the difficulty is what really makes it really immersive, and I feel like my heart is racing like every time. I know the end of the game is gonna get very, because every racer that you beat, 2 to 3 races, like per every 2 to 3 races that you come in first, you get a new car, right? So you get that racer's car, and you gotta and you can use that car. That car is forever unlocked. So with each tier of cars, the cars get faster, but again the AI gets smarter, and yeah. But just my heart races like when you're near the end of the game, and it's so hard. You gotta really, you can't mess up, you can't crash at all, otherwise you're screwed. That first place you won't catch. Next one is SOCOM 1. SOCOM 1 now. Similar to Ghost Recon, a realistic military feel. And, with the commands, right? What I really like about it is that the commands, and I know the AI wasn't as good, which is why I didn't put it up a bit higher. This is number 5 on the list, so I just wish the AI was a bit better. Like, but you being the leader, notice you're in a team of 4. There's 2, so there's 2 Alpha and 2 Bravo. You guys are kind of like separate, right? But you as being the leader of the 4, you can make commands. So you tell Alpha to go to Charlie or wherever, Foxtrot or Zulu, and it's different areas throughout the map, right? And yeah, so they'll make their way there, and sometimes it's slower than usual, but they'll eventually make their way there, and you'll tell them, hold your fire, cover this target, clear the area, fire at will, which kill enemies like on sight, and you go to different areas, countries as well, and there's kind of like there's a brief story in these, but again, the gun and the gunplay feels perfect. Like when you're playing the gameplay, the guns feel perfect. There's not too much recoil. The guns aren't too heavy. They aren't too light. I work just fine. And I mean a third person shooter, right? I love third person shooters. Max Payne, Splinter Cell, Hitman Absolution, GTA, and Red Dead. All those games. As one of the first, this one and SOCOM 2 they're like one of the first SOCOM games that I played. But really, again, they're immersive, they're realistic, the realism. You die very quickly in this one. You die super, super, super quickly, so you gotta really be careful. And you gotta use your team to your advantage and use stealth. And again, and knowing the maps, like sometimes just capturing intel and so I cover this target, capture this target. So there's a lot to it. You got different guns, and per every time you go, every time you start a new mission, there's your leader or whatever, the commander, like at the base, she'll give you different objectives and all that. Next one is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which just fell down right here. Peace Walker, if you know, I'm currently playing Metal Gear Solid 5, so this comes before that. If you're not counting Metal Gear Solid Ground Zero, which is basically a demo, but even though it's actual, like, it's weird. But Peace Walker again, you guys know Big Boss, right? So what like what makes it immersive is the base. You can build your own base, and the mother base is like this oil rig that your private military builds on, And I really like it. I really like the attention to detail. And the sectors I talked about is which they bring back in Metal Gear Solid 5. Medical, intel, research and development. With these sectors you all they level up, they level from 1 to 40. And like per every level that you do you unlock a new weapon and like more gadgets and different type of grenades. I believe the sleeping grenades in this, or that was introduced in 5, and there's different areas, upgrade guns and yeah. So just researching, but the boss fights again, the big scale. There's big scale makes that you gotta fight, right? The Metal Gears they call them, and it was really interesting. Like they really. This is the first Metal Gear Solid game I played, but they did a good job. But the boss fights they last a long time and you can't mess up at all. Otherwise, you'll die very quickly. There's a lot to it. And it being for PSP, and again, it being such a big scale game for like a small console, PSP. Again, it's like a PlayStation 3, but it's like or PS2, but it's portable. It's a small little. That's like playing like a iOS game, but it's small. But a bit bigger than iOS, but yeah. And the cutscene, the voice acting is so good. Again, Metal Gear has some of the best voice acting in games. Just look up, just go on YouTube and look up Metal Gear Solid 5 voice acting or cutscenes. It's so well done, and they do a very good job in it. This one kind of adds in anime, it being Konami Japanese, so they kind of use anime based kind of manga to kind of describe what's going on and give you a bit of backstory. So there's a lot of cutscenes of these little things. It makes it interesting where the characters talk and there's like it's kind of like a comic book. Manga being like an anime comic book, so they make it like a comic book form cutscenes. It's pretty cool. Again, no, number 3. What am I doing? Number 3 is Destroy All Humans 2. I love Destroy All Humans 2. I talk about this, but what makes it immersive is that it's in the 60s, right? So you go to different cultures. You go to America, San Francisco, England, Tokyo, Russia, and you go to the moon, right? So with all these different areas that you go to, like there's hippies, there's obviously you being a Furon, right? Crypto's brilliant. Like I recently got the crypto statue right here. Ooh, man, I swear. But one of my favorite gaming franchises all the time. And again, going back to it though, like you being a Furon, right? The alien, you worship Ark Voodoo, which is like a made up god, the alien god, and then the hippies they worship it and all that, and then there's that, a make love not war, and what's going on like at the time between Russia and America, that kind of political warfare and all that, and yeah, so going to the moon and all that, which is pretty cool. It was a really cool addition to the game. And like what really like the super immersive feeling is that you use an alien, you can disguise yourself as human, so you can shape shift or kind of merge your soul with humans. It's kind of hard to explain. With a certain human, then you become that human temporarily. So you can be in a human disguise, but yeah, and then you can talk. So there's dialogue choices. It's kind of like an RPG game, right? Where the dialogue where okay, you can choose to act like you have no idea what's going on, or act smart like a smart ass, or act intelligent, or or kind of throw someone off. So like when you're having a conversation with somebody, you're in a human form, like you'll be like a KGB agent or like some military guy, and with that, like different disguises will let you in different areas. And some disguises, like obviously, like if you're a civilian, if you're disguised as a civilian, if you go in a military area, they won't let you in. But it's very cool. It's very, very, very cool. And when you go to Tokyo, especially when you go to Tokyo, the world opens up. There's even more like factions. There's the white ninja and black ninja. There's the Yakuza and there's the Eastern Yakuza. There's all these different factions in the game. And there's the Tokyo military. There's the KGBs. The KGBs, they're like the number one villain in the game. The Russian agents or whatever. which they're building this conspiracy around destroying you, killing the Pharaohs. And that's not even it. You got so many powers in the game. You make human, you can mind control people, disguise yourself as people, telekinesis. You got these weapons. You can summon meteorites. You shock people. You turn people like into ash. It's so much power, and it's just and the world feels very big. It's a big open world. You go to maps. There's one map, two. There's there's 6 different, 5 different open world maps that you go to, with each city or country you go to, and the moon even makes it. The moon, like when you're on the moon, you have a jetpack, and like when you're going up and down due to the zero gravity, you don't move as fast. Even attention to detail to that. But really, the dialogue choices in the game, and with you being a Furon, you can't really die. So like every time you die, you clone yourself. So you clone yourself, Crypto 148. Next time you die, 149. Then so on, 150, and then so on. So you come back. Then there's a checkpoint. But yeah, number two now is SOCOM 2. One of the first games I played. I love the SOCOM 2. Similar to SOCOM 1 again, you're taking. Now it's even better that the AI actually works properly this time. Your team AI, so like you tell a person to follow you, like they'll follow you right away. There's no delay. There's no AI delay, and it really feels real. Like per every area you go to, there's a new what do you call it again? You gotta kind of learn what the objective is. There's missions like gathering intel, kill this target, protect this target, take this target hostage, and intel, and you really feel that suspense. Like, really, like when sometimes you're in dark areas. There's one where there's a terrorist group. They're gonna blow up like this giant industrial plant with dynamite. Then you guys gotta go in and take them down. That's so cool. It's really, really, really cool. You feel that realistic military feel to it, and you gotta try your best to use silence weapons, because again, if you're the stealthier you are, the higher your grade at each mission. So yeah, it's pretty fun. It's really fun. But all these different, it puts you all these different scenarios. There's one where you gotta blow up a plane before it takes off. There's another one where you're in the Middle East, and you're in this U.S. embassy, and then the rebels are coming to basically kill you. They're coming like in these huge groups, and you guys being in a group of 4, you gotta try your best to stay stealthy, get to cover, and take them out one by one. And you're doing all this while protecting a target. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot of immersiveness, but similar to SOCOM 1, but even better, more advanced, and yeah, and tons of weapons, even more weapons in this one, and in different uniforms. If you go to Russia, you look completely different. Your group changes. Like when you're in Albania, your group, or Algeria, the uniforms are different. The most immersive ones, the most immersive game number 1 is King Kong 2005. No, King Kong 2005 is it's play as man, play as monster, right? It's based on the King Kong 2005 movie. It's very cool. You play as Jack and King Kong. So like when you're Jack, it's a third-person shooter, right? And like our first-person shooter, and when you're King Kong, you're the third-person action adventure monster game, where you're kind of like the Hulk, right? So when you're Jack, everything is bigger. You fight dinosaurs and centipedes and huge crabs, giant bats. But like when you're King Kong, everything is smaller than you. Everything is so, like you're this huge thing on this playground. You kind of get around the world a lot easier. No, when you're Jack, it feels like a horror game, kind of like a horror game. You can't run in the game. There's no run button. Like when you swim, you go very slow. You can only walk in the game, and bullets are very limited in the game. You being on this island, right? And sometimes like you'll be by yourself. Jack will be all by himself. He'll run on the bullets. Then like when it happens, you gotta act like a hunter-gatherer type, where you gotta pick up sticks to fight or spears. Use the spears to defend yourself. You got dinosaurs coming after you. You got these centipedes. It's very, these weird ass creatures. All sorts of creatures. There's one where you have to swim. You're like on a raft with your crew, and then the raft breaks. You guys gotta swim through the area. You gotta swim But meanwhile, you're swimming. This Tyrannosaurus Rex is chasing you guys, and like every time it walks, there's like an earthquake, right? It feels like an earthquake. It's like the ground is shaking. You guys gotta swim like hell. It's one hell. It's one hell, and it's like me playing this like no way in hell we're gonna survive this. No way in hell. Then I believe King Kong comes. He fights a T-Rex and all that. So yeah. No, I'm not even. I'm going into the fire being a very important thing in the game. Fire, really important. Because there's this bush, right? There's dried up bush that you can burn. Sometimes the bush will be in your way. You gotta burn the bush to go on to the next section. Or you gotta burn the bush to kill these enemies because you won't have any bullets. So let's say if you burn a bush, a dinosaur walks through the bush, a smaller one, then that will kill that dinosaur. Only the smaller ones. The immersiveness too, it's like just that fire, that feeling of fire, and like a fire can kill you, but like it expands in the story from the movie. Some areas like adds there's less characters, but I feel like there's more character development for the main characters. You get to play as King Kong in the game. King Kong, he's massive creature, right? He has his kill animations, and you get to see the world through King Kong's perspective. Yeah, I basically feel like he's a king in the island, right? He's this king in the island. Like when you play as him, he has a rage mode where he pounds his chest, and he's even more stronger than like this. It just feels so good, like when you play as King Kong. But you can die again. Jack will die very quickly if you're not careful as King Kong. You can die quickly. There's one where King Kong fights he's outnumbered by these two other dinosaurs, and then if you're not careful, the dinosaurs will kill him, or a Tyrannosaurus Rex if it's a 3-on-1 situation, which is pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, that's it. Again, Immersion, PSP, PS2. I did one for PS4 back in July, and these type of videos, I really enjoy doing them. I really like to analyze games, and let me know what you guys think of the Metal Gear Solid walkthrough, which I uploaded just yesterday. Anyways, that's it. Like, subscribe, share the video. Thank you.